Welcome to our panel discussion, our tech talk on energy automation, powering the smart home with clean energy. My name is Lisa Montgomery, and I am from CE Pro. And I have a great panel here on stage to talk about this very new, very emerging market. It's a new market to our CEDIA audience, and it's super exciting. I'll go down the list here. To my immediate left is Blake Ricchetta. He is the Senior Vice President and head of the U.S. subsidiary at Sonnen. They have a booth right over there, and you should check it out. It's incredible. And then we have AJ Brunson, and AJ is, he works for Syntegration, and he does custom installation work and software design. Next to him is Gordon Van Zuden, and he is also another integrator, and he has had a lot of experience in the smart energy marketplace. And then we have Ron Callis, and Ron, it works for One Firefly. They're a marketing firm. And then lastly, we have Troy Morgan, and he is founder and CEO of Pantech Design. He does a lot of programming for Crestron systems, and you'll learn about what he does in relationship to Sonnen during our talk. So let's get it started. You know, this is a completely new sort of element at the CEDIA Expo. And I think we all would love to know what intelligent energy automation actually means. So Blake, can you give us the explanation?
Absolutely. I'll try to make it relatively concise. I don't know if I'm known for being concise, probably not. Mostly verbose, so. I'm Blake Ricchetta, Senior Vice President of Sonnen, and I spent 15 years at Lutron Electronics developing the Radio Raw and Radio Raw 2 businesses, and really loved this space, loved the CEDIA channel, love Lutron. And when I left Lutron, I went to Tesla to run the Powerwall business, which is residential energy storage. And while I was at Tesla, I started to realize that there was something very, I thought, unfortunate, really, that was going on in the energy market. And that's that this enormous industry, the energy space, which is one of the largest industries in the world, is starving for what they called smart home technology. And that at every conference I was at, or every event, people are talking about in the world of the smart grid of the future and the energy transition, where a grid is more decentralized and digitalized and ultimately decarbonized, that utility companies would be able to interact with smart homes. And I thought this was kind of interesting, since these companies in my space in the energy industry have very little idea how in the world to actually make a smart home smart. And this was relatively ironic. And when I started saying, you know, there's this whole industry of people who know how to do that, who already can make load shedding include lights and shades and temperature and vampire loads and things of this nature and appliances, and could pre-cool a home and then shed the temperature and coordinate that with a battery and solar, that they would love the challenge of doing that. And it's called the CEDIA trade and the integrator. And most folks in my industry don't even know what that is. In 3 weeks, SPI, Solar Power International. Raise your hand if you even know what SPI is. Exactly. So SA, of course, Sonnen people in the back. Yeah. Now, SPI is the big dance in the renewable energy industry. It's Solar Power International. It's as big as this show or bigger. And the people at SPI don't even know CEDIA exists, and CEDIA doesn't know SPI exists, yet the utility companies, the government, and the consumer expect this smart grid of the future to happen. So what basically happened is I was inspired. I left Tesla, came to Sonnen, which is the world leader in residential energy storage, and by far the best product and the best company I've worked for in my career. And I led Sonnen into a relatively new direction. I guess you could call it a radically new direction, by embracing the CEDIA space, first of all, and then getting some smart folks together to write all the drivers and create the energy automation software required to do what utility companies want to do, but in reality, it doesn't happen. To be able to control thermostats and lights and shades and loads around the house in an intelligent way, in a harmonized way with renewable energy generation and storage. That is energy automation. So the application of having cool things like smart configurable backup power, the world's first smart configurable backup power, you can see at Sonnen booth here at the show, where smart breakers from Eaton are communicating to Sonnen energy storage and solar, and because of the code that's been written by our folks that represent the Control4 and Crestron platforms with ADAPT software, you have the ability to say, oh, there's a power outage, and I either want these loads for this much time, or these loads for this much time, or these loads for this much time. The Eaton smart breakers tell you what the load is. We know the state of charge of the battery. We know the solar coming in from the sun, and there's conditional logic built in to say, okay, this is your backup power and it's gonna last this much time. That's never been done in the energy industry. And it was done with a lot of hard work in about 6 months with some guys on the panel here. And then the last application is to be able to shape your load, which I won't go into technical details on right now, but load shaping really allows you to create the smart energy home of the future by shifting load, shedding load, at the right time, charging during off-peak, using more energy during off-peak and less energy during peak, and coordinating that with solar and a battery. In my industry, in the energy industry, this is top of mind every day. Right, Ani? Every day, this is all anybody cares about talking about. But they can't actually do it. And you guys can. You guys can make it all happen. So I think, at Lutron, the first year we came to CEDIA, my boss was told, literally, this is a good quote, you can see in C Pro, are you guys lost? Because when Lutron came to CEDIA in 1992, it was considered very strange for a lighting control company at CEDIA. Why would they come to CEDIA? It's high voltage. Are you looking for some other show? And you fast forward to today, and how many of you are involved in lighting control and automated shades today? Raise your hand. It is a huge category in home automation. Mark my word, I know this is a first. It's kind of cool to be in a first. You guys are the first panel at CEDIA ever. The first award was last night for energy automation. In 10 years, you're gonna look back and say, I was part of the beginning where energy automation hit CEDIA. So it's a new way of thinking, it's a new category, it's a new area. You're talking about utility companies, totally different things, but you guys could make a lot of money and really help advance energy and the fight against climate change. So with that.
We have a few guys who've been in the trenches of custom installation, and so I'm going to direct this question for you. What does it mean to your business to get into this emerging category? And is now the time to do it? Are we right at the cusp of things right now? Or do we, a lot of things take time to mature in this industry. Are we ready now? And are you guys ready?
Who wants to take that?
Gordon?
Gordon's going to take this one. He's already done it.
I'll tackle this one. First off, I have to say, I didn't get the memo about wearing a sport coat. If this is Facebook and it's going to my wife, I'm in big, big trouble. It's the one thing she says, dress right, but I'm doing the best I can here.
You look great, buddy.
Okay. Anyway, that aside, we are a home technology integrator based in Northern California. We've been in business about 20 years. I think we're very, very representative of the people that walk around here as integrators, 11 people. We do all the things that relate to technology in the house, the standard audio, video, lighting control, motorized shades, cameras, security, and the like. We're a Control4 dealer. We were honored to be a certified Control4 showroom recently. And so we really look at ourselves today as being trusted advisors in home technology. At the end of the day, somebody comes to us with a new home or retrofitting a home, and we're probably the only people they can talk to that have a breadth of knowledge across a lot of different topics in technology. Obviously, the core strengths I just mentioned, but increasingly they're asking us for expertise in irrigation systems, in pool control systems, in digital picture frames, in shower control, all these things that are now part of this internet-connected space, network-connected space inside the home. And so I think what I look at it as from my perspective in our business and our clients is it's almost like we're a restaurant. And I'll kind of craft this analogy for you. You know, they come to us to create something really interesting out of a lot of different ingredients. And most successful restaurants are successful because they take ingredients that all of us can get and craft something that's very, very memorable that they want to be part of and enjoy and come back to. Well, I look at the ingredients that we have as an integrator, which are the standard audio, video, wonderful screens we can see at the show, and all the different tools that we have, and we try to craft something that's really memorable for our clients. And fortunately today, these ingredients all talk to each other. And so now we can really craft something very, very memorable because we don't have to kludge something together. They all work together because there's a standard protocol across all those ingredients. And no better one than not only the entertainment that we weave together and the security and the comfort, but now we can weave in energy and we can weave in energy management. And when we can take this footprint of electronics that we put inside the home and say at the end of the day, all this great enjoyment, yes, you have an electrical bill to pay for it, and we can compensate for that with solar and battery and keep running the Super Bowl at night and you're not paying for it. Isn't that a cool story? Isn't that something that really brings full circle to what we're putting in somebody's house, and we're doing it in an autonomous and clean and right way to do it? So it's as much about a profitable opportunity, I think, as it is a right opportunity. And we're just proud to be part of that experience and here with this great group of people.
And Ron, how would you go about differentiate? You know, it's creating some differentiation for custom integrators. How would a custom integrator take advantage of that? I mean, and push that message out that they are in the business now of energy automation.
Sure. So I'll start out by saying, you know, Blake and I spent some time together last summer, and Blake and I started at Lutron almost 20 years ago. And
Within the same 2 months of each other.
Yeah, within the
Then
same
he jumped
2
ship to Crestron, and I'm like, don't go to the dark side.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That did happen. So anyway, Blake got me excited about this new frontier, and not just energy storage, but you know, he first mentioned Tesla Powerwall, and then he educated me on Sonnen and who they were in the world in this space. And I mean, my light bulb immediately went off. I've spent 20 years working with each and every one of you, you know, in different capacities in the manufacturer side, engineering side, marketing side. And to answer your question, Lisa, I mean, one of the characteristics that helps you guys win new business is differentiation. And this is a category that there simply hasn't been a good way to do this. There simply has not been a good way for you as integrators to bring this technology into the home and yet fully integrate it with your control systems so that you can bring that extra level of power and integration and experience to the user. So between just seeing the vision and seeing, you know, look, when you get into some of the more technical reasons this technology exists, and addressing peak load and duct curves and peaker plants, and you learn about all this, the reasons this power storage technology exists. I believe it is the future. When you look at microgrids and putting it on the blockchain and all of these things that Sonnen is doing and leading the world, it's exciting as hell. So how can you not help but get excited in the fact that Blake believed enough in this channel to bring it here and present this opportunity to this channel to differentiate themselves? So the short answer to your question is you will tell your customers, you'll put it on your websites, you'll put it in your literature, you'll put it in your message that you have solutions for your consumers that have simply never existed.
Okay, you threw out a lot of very technical terms there about peak loads.
I'm gonna pass that ball
and
right back to these smarter guys.
So it's kind of maybe a little akin to when motorized draperies hit the scene, and they're a huge category now. And
imagine that.
And integrators had to learn about drapes, like fabrics and stuff.
I just want to add one comment. Blake told me about the show called SPI, and this is my 19th CEDIA. I haven't missed one in 19 years. And Blake told me about this show, and I'm like, I got to see this. So I went. I went last September. It's bigger than this show, much bigger than this show. And I was in their booth, and I was just observing. It was my role, it was my purpose for being there. I said, I got to see it. And there were contractors just like you, audio, integration businesses. They were solar integration businesses that were walking up and talking to all of the vendors, just like Cedia. And it is, I just want to, validate that point. They don't know you exist, and you don't know they exist. And there's this powerful intersection, I think, because the technology is there, and a company like Sonnen is ultimately bringing it together. And so it's
and the solar contractor wants to work with home automation dealers. They don't. They're not in the home automation space. It's very intimidating to the vast majority of them. And so the idea of doing this is very up their alley. And the bottom line is, for an integrator, this is your chance to actually break free of the walls, the confines of the house, and actually be a part of something bigger. Imagine if you were doing programming, not just for one house's control system, but if you were helping to control 500 houses in what's called a virtual power plant cluster, which is absolutely what we do. And they're starving for someone to help with that software.
And I think your customers are gonna giggle when they hear about what's possible. Is the ROI sell so much the reason? I mean, you're gonna get into deeper, how do you market, how do you sell it? I think that the early adopters are gonna think it's cool. It's really cool. I mean, look at the touch panels in the Sonnen booth, on the Crestron panel, on the Control4 panel. These guys have made it integrate. You get the feedback, you get the information. Now you can have triggers that make things happen in the home based on this. So it's just really neat.
I'd like to leverage exactly off of what Ron said. I think integrators like us that are out here, we're not really solar experts, we're not battery experts, but we are in the home automation space. We understand the platforms that we serve. We understand Crestron, we understand Elan, we understand Control4, and our true value add to the homeowner is bringing that all together and creating a great home automation experience. We already got that. So if now we can just make that a richer experience, and through what AJ's been doing and Troy's doing, and take the same touchscreen experience that they're used to on a Crestron panel or used to on a C4 panel, and they hit an icon just like they hit an icon for music, but this icon is an energy management icon, and it tells them what they're gaining from solar, what the battery is storing, what you're using, and in a real-time way lets them manage their life with energy the way they're enjoying their life now with lighting and music and security. No-brainer is an oft-used term, but give me a break. We're already doing all this stuff. Why wouldn't we add one more icon to support energy and leverage this great technology to do that?
So AJ and Troy, tell us a little bit about what you're doing to marry the two industries or two elements together, automation and energy storage. You're creating the solutions to tie those together. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're up to? And
Troy, you want to go first?
So I'm going to dovetail a few things here, and I'm going to get directly to that, Lisa, because I believe that's really what we're here to learn a little bit more about. But I want to tell a couple of stories about how this really all kind of came together and some of the interesting things that I've experienced that directly affect you guys. You guys have been doing this a while. You guys are the experts. I did an online demo recently for an electrical contractor / solar contractor, probably one of the bigger, better guys out there. And at the end of this thing, after I show him all this amazing technology, energy monitoring, and all this great stuff, he says to me, "Awesome. So we're electrical contractors and solar contractors. We don't want to have anything to do with that other than make sure we can make it work. Can you handle all that?" "Yes, sir, we can." And we, meaning this industry. So this is why Blake's vision is so cool to involve you guys. I'm going to tell another quick story along those lines. This is a story that Blake told me that just made me laugh because
You'll like this one.
The solar industry has been trying. So Sonnen's been doing this quite a while. I mean, this is a 10-year-old company. They've been doing battery technology at a high level for a long time, and the solar guys have been eating this stuff up because storing energy is key, right? Well, they are literally trying to force Sonnen to fix the internet. because these things are connected to the internet. And the solar contractors don't want to have anything to do with the network. They don't know what DHCP even means, right? So what's cool is that's your role. That's you guys. You guys already understand this stuff. You're experts in this field. And so I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because, in my opinion, our industry here, it's incredible. And there's all kinds of things going on. But as integrators, we need to be mindful and focused on emerging technology. And this, in my opinion, is absolutely the direction. This is where things have to go to fix our grid, help our grid, give the homeowners the things that they're looking for, create resiliency. This is not an ROI move at all. This is not, your industry is not an ROI industry. Your industry is a lifestyle industry. Your industry is an industry that takes care of wealthy people's lifestyles. You now get to walk in and tell a homeowner that they're going to be resilient. They're going to have power when other people don't. That's a big deal. They're going to be a part of a microgrid. That's right, Ron. You are now special in a way that most people aren't, and it's going to only continue. So I'm sorry, I probably deviated completely, Lisa, but it was what I was feeling when everybody was talking. So I'm going to actually now touch on the question that you asked. So one of the neatest things about integrating all this stuff together is exactly that. It's integration, right? We've been doing this for a long time, and writing this software and being a part of this special thing was not only challenging from a time frame standpoint, but it was also challenging because we were bringing technology together that's never been brought together before. And a great example of that is an Eaton intelligent breaker. Guys, they've been talking about this for what, 5 years? 5 years or more?
Utilities have been playing around with it for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, and we're the first. This industry is actually the first to show it working, really working. Control from a control system of an Eaton intelligent breaker. It's incredible.
It's wild.
Absolutely incredible. So with that said, I'm just jazzed. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for what we're doing. And I'm going to turn it over to AJ, and he's going to dig in a little bit on some of the rest of that.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that I noticed when I was doing this whole driver development was that we now can do what we do with power that we've been doing with shades, lighting, audio, video. Like we can remove this thing called the protected loads panel. So I'll just kind of put this in perspective. Let's say you have this affluent customer. And so right now with the battery technology, you have to tell that customer before they've ever even moved into the house, what do you want on the battery? What do you find important in your life? And what do you not find important in your life? And you're gonna have to wire that electrically and do that. With this technology, you don't have to do that. Now it's a software configuration thing. At the end, literally, you don't have to worry about that. You can say, so here's a good example.
Isn't that what we call automation?
Yeah. So let's say, for example, this customer has a west wing of their house, and that's their guest wing. And they, you know what? When you first built the house, they didn't care about that wing. That's the guest bedroom. And so when the house loses power, that side of the house doesn't need to be powered. But now his mother is going to live with him, and she has an oxygen tank. Well, now all you have to do is log in remotely, and in 30 seconds, you can change that Control4 program or change that Crestron system, and now that mother is now, her oxygen system is now taken care of. And it was that simple. And that's just never happened before. I mean, I remember when Blake told me about this, I was, nah, you're insane. Like, I need a year, like minimum, just to think about how I'm gonna put this into a home. And when I saw it work, it just blew my mind. It was like, why haven't we been doing this? I remember when Control4 in 2008 tried to do demand response. I remember when I think Eric Smith actually went to Congress and tried to get funding for this. And you know, in 2008, technology wasn't there. Cloud computing wasn't there. You know, I mean, it just wasn't there. And we're there now. And you guys are the reason it's gonna work. The technology needs an intelligent person to put this in. And this is, I guess, we had a conversation about Alexa the other day, and it's like, oh, well, why can't Alexa do all this? Alexa isn't a smart home. It's a connected home. Yes, you tell Alexa to do something, but this stuff tells the home, hey, you've lost power. And based on how much energy you have left, we're going to change the home so that it makes the home work the way that the customer's lifestyle isn't impeded. And so
Energy automation.
I think we
right
have
there.
time for one more panelist question, then we're going to open it up to Q&A. It takes consumers a while to embrace certain technologies. Do you think do you think people are ready for this?
So, yeah, I'll take it first. But so to answer your question, so this is a very dynamic new category. One play is to talk to your forward-thinking, affluent customers. We call them Sunny Sue and Prepper Pete. If you have a Sunny Sue customer, if you have a Prepper Pete, they're very different, by the way. Sunny Sue she drives an electric car and goes to Whole Foods and does lots of yoga. Okay, she's affluent, but she really wants to do the coolest, newest, awesomest thing. And the idea of carbon neutral living and a climate positive home is really cool to her. So she is ready. Sunny Sue is ready. We sell her every day. You guys would sell Sunny Sue, we've already proven this, better than our typical solar contractor. Bless our solar contractor. But because you could connect to Sunny Sue on her already existing Control4 system, or Crestron system, and the audio video that's in her house, and she wants to do the right thing for society. Then you've got Prepper Pete. I don't think I need to explain to you who he is. He's obsessed with backup power, also has a bunker and a second house and this. Okay, he's your other customer you could sell right now. So they're ready. Outside of them, you have to understand what we're talking about here is the integrator breaking outside of the confines of an individual home. Ultimately, I want the really rock star energy automation integrator to get involved with us with utilities and with home builders and developers. Mandalay Homes and Wasatch Development are here. They were in the back earlier. They walk around more, I think. But these are developers that are putting thousands of Sonins and solar systems in homes. Mandalay Homes alone is doing 3,500 houses. And guess what? They're looking for a solution to tie all their technology together. They're here today. You guys, anybody's from Arizona, you can go try to sell them. The reality is that they want to use Control4, they think, but they're not sure, and blah, 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 blah. So from the energy side, home builders and developers are a great possibility because they bring an entire community. If they're eco-progressive community, a carbon neutral community, a green community, which is very real, then they have a lot of reason why they could do solar and storage, especially in California. And then the technology of integrating that with the utility is challenging, and we need an integrator. That's one. Two, utility companies purely. Ani could tell you if she was up here, my colleague who's from the utility space, there are significant budgets for demand response and for the smart grid of the future being allocated by utilities, right, Ani? I mean, this is the kind of money that you guys would be very impressed with. And these utility companies want solutions now. And when I sit in front of a utility company and say, we can do solar, battery, smart breaker, load control, heat and air conditioning control, lights, shades, they're blown away. Rocky Mountain Power was blown away that this could work right now and that they could get that in their lab right now and they could do a pilot of some houses right now. So that's a totally different way to think of your market. But imagine in 20 years when AV is a little bit different. What are you going to do that is going to be soaring up? What is going to be growing in 20 or 30 years? And by the way, the poor utility companies, they're sitting up there saying smart home is Alexa and a Wemo. I'm not kidding you. And a Nest thermostat, right, Ani? They think that's it. That's home automation, right? You could walk in there right now with technology Crestron had in 2012. He did it. And the utility companies, when is it going to be ready? What year? Well, it's ready now. It's like old news, but I won't tell you how old it is. So that business, that is a totally different space for you guys, but imagine in 10 years if you're contracted by a utility to program virtual power plant technology across 500 houses. Is it possible, Ani? and then you guys would be the ones to bring it all together. That's a totally, so are they ready? Are utilities ready? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Are some homeowners ready? Sue and Pete? Yes. Let's go get them.
All right.
If I can just maybe add again.
We only have a few.
Okay,
like,
one quick second.
4 minutes.
The why us, why now? The reference point I would make, with all due respect to great solar panel manufacturers and due respect to Sonnen for making a great battery, we're really in the age of software, not the age of hardware. And what really makes these products shine is how we can embellish them with the software enhancement. We have a battery, we have solar. What can we do with that adds value to people's lives? How can we reduce the electrical rate based on the knowledge that we can apply to the utility? Or how can we turn the fan on, open up the skylight, close the shades, shut off a wing of a house, leverage these hardware platforms to do great things through the wonders of software. And today is the time of software. Today is the time where Control4, Crestron, and others add the magic. This room adds that magic. And we have the chance to do that now.
Well, I want to thank the panelists for being here,
Woo,
for
first time
the
ever. Yay.
audience for attending.
Give yourselves a hand.
And I hope you're excited about this new opportunity that we're talking about.